Hey, it's Weston Edmondson. I play football at Grace Christian Academy, and this is the No Playbook Podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the show. It's the podcast featuring the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from East Tennessee. Today, joining me in the podcast, Weston Edmondson, quarterback at Grace Christian Academy. Weston and I got to hang out this summer at a cool event at Dick's House of Sport. It was a skills challenge where we got to kind of identify the best of the best in East Tennessee when it comes to, different skills. We did one for quarterbacks. We did a broad jump, a 40-yard dash, bench press, all that kind of stuff. Actually, the winner of the bench press competition, Iverson Garcia, he's going to be joining me. He's from Powell High School. Going to be joining me on an episode in a couple of weeks. Weston, I'm so glad I got the opportunity to talk with him about his recruiting experience, his training for his senior year of football. And we talk a lot about movies. He's a movie buff. I'll get to Weston Edmondson right after this. Sit tight.
Fort Sanders Health and Fitness Center has the key for you to be happy, healthy, strong, and more in 2024. The outdoor pool is finally open, and of course, our indoor pool is open year-round. We have all the strength and cardio equipment you could want, basketball and racquetball courts, indoor and outdoor tennis, and of course, pickleball, plus about 85 group fitness classes that take place every week, including my absolute favorite, Sprint. And parents, Fort Sanders Health and Fitness Center has complimentary childcare with a family membership. There's also swim and tennis lessons for adults and kids, month to month with no long-term contracts. It's time to get your summer look started at Fort Sanders Health and Fitness Center, Kingston Pike at Pellissippi Parkway. You can call 531-5000. That's 531-5000, or visit fshfc.com for Fort Sanders Health and Fitness Center.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been good, man. Just opportunity to get out of school, so I'm enjoying it for sure.
Yeah. So are you at school today?
Yeah, I'm at school, but I don't know if I told you, but I have this like dual enrollment classes that are through a college, so they don't start till the 25th. So right now I'm just kind of just walking around doing whatever. So I don't know what going on.
Sporting a mustache too. Do you ever get mistaken for a teacher or coach?
I know, man. Listen, the thing about this is I get a lot of comments on this, but this has been a long time coming. I've been growing this out for about 2 years, finally filling in a little bit, so it's good. I'm proud of it.
It's all right. Yeah. You keep it. Yeah. That's an accomplishment. 12th grade, and you already got that. Beginning of the 12th grade.
Yeah.
So you going like Fu Manchu by the end of the year?
No, I've thought about that, but I don't know if I have all those powers yet. I can get a little bit right here, a little bit right here, but I'm still patchy throughout. So I kind of got to keep it clean shaved so I get a little bit more manliness around on the face. So we'll see how long that lasts.
I support that, definitely. Hey, so first of all, it was cool getting to work with you at the that event at Dick's not long ago. Have you gotten to be a part of any other kind of skills competitions like that?
Since then, no, we've kind of just been really honed in on obviously the 7-on-7 after, but since then we've kind of been honed in on the high school things. But I've throughout the summer with camps and any like skills competition, I've had definitely some of those for sure.
What else did you do this summer? Different camps?
A lot of camps, some exposure camps in the spring, some 7-on-7s, just mostly, because at this point in my recruiting, the guys that like me already know who I am. And so I'm just kind of go to these camps, go to these, campuses, trying to like further my relationship rather than like get introduced. So there was a lot less exposure things, more fine tuning relationships and, trying to show things that they maybe need to see more from me, just showcasing new talents the coaches I already have in contact with. But I went to a lot of camps this summer, very, very jam-packed.
So would that mean that you've got your kind of recruiting narrowed down a little bit?
For the most part, there's, obviously there's not like a, top five, but there's a short list of guys that, I'm in contact with every week, guys that are waiting to see my first 3, weeks of film in high school. And a lot of guys that, going on visits, schools I'm in contact with and, trying to hone that down, what makes sense for me, logically as like a distance thing and also where I fit in the best and, where I can, see myself playing.
So what is it? I like hearing the like most important factors when it comes to recruiting. Is it like proximity to home, like the system, coaching?
Yeah. So for me, I'm a very personable guy. I like talking to people. I would say I'm extroverted. So I think a lot of places where I click with the coaching staff, I think that's what really, gets me intrigued initially. There's a lot of staffs that met him for the first time. I feel like I knew him for years, and it's just that what really entices me to begin with, but also this summer, I think kind of like that second half of my relationship with people is kind of the proximity to home, you could say, because I went to a lot of being a high academic. I went to a lot of the Northeast, like the high academic schools, like the Ivy Leagues, the Fordhams, the Georgetown, stuff like that, that were really interested in me. I enjoyed all the great, great atmospheres, great coaching staff, but being away from home, I don't know if I'm totally opposed from it, but it made me, really appreciate the South and where I'm from. So we'll see how that goes in the fall.
Would you care to share just a couple of the places that you've
Yeah, yeah. I
made a
actually,
connection with?
I'll bring up the list right now. I went to Fordham up there. I went to Columbia, Penn, Harvard, Georgetown, Boston College, and then did I mention? Yeah, the Columbia. I went to majority of the Ivies: Penn, Columbia, Harvard. Like I said, Boston College, Fordham, Georgetown, and a lot of those high academic schools up there that I went to. I enjoyed all of them. A couple of the Ivies, I really enjoyed. A couple of them, being in New York, I really love New York, but I just don't compared to Knoxville. The blessing of the city, I enjoyed it, but it's just a lot of those opened my eyes to being more of a South guy. I think.
Mhm. So our guy that is the owner of D1 Training here in Knoxville, I'm pretty sure he went to Fordham.
Hmm.
He played
That
golf, I
might be.
believe.
Yeah, the Fordham. I've been talking with one of the where they were one of the first schools to really reach out to me. They have their old line coach. His name is last name is Coach Giuffre. That old Italian like Giuffre. I think is how you pronounce. He's a great guy. He's been down to Grace a couple of times. I've also talked to him forever. He's a great guy. That's a place, great coaching staff. Really loved everyone there. Went up there, really enjoyed the atmosphere. But kind of found myself missing home being up in New York. So it was one of those things we'll have to see. I'm going back up there this fall, so I'm going to visit again, which will be fun. But other than that, just seeing how everything went and went really well.
Speaking of the fall, how does the team look this season?
Oh, it's leaps and bounds from with the new staff coming in this past winter. Everyone's super excited for change. We've had my freshman year was Coach Long, who's at Fulton now. Me and Coach Long came in the same year, so we kind of grouped together. So when Coach Long left late last fall to go to Fulton, obviously going to my senior year, I was a little bit nervous for what was to come. But when the Price brothers came in as a quarterback, obviously you hear the Price brothers, you think of what they've done in the past with their passing stats, you get a little bit excited. And also when they came in, they were just super big on building relationships and getting everyone excited, not only on the football team, but being involved with the school and being in the school and kind of making excitement. And obviously, excitement eventually wears off, but good coaches know how to hone in that excitement and kind of stack days. And I feel like we've stacked days starting all the way back in February when we were in there working out, getting better day by day. We have some kids transfer in. We've had some, a great coaching staff coming in with the addition of Coach Craney, who was the head coach at Central the past couple of years. He came on to coach defense. And then recently we got Cedric Houston, who played at Tennessee, coming on to coach running back. So, we just have a great staff and all this excitement and all these, new players coming in and people getting better because we've been really young the past couple of years. It's going to be a good year. We scrimmaged Clinton 2 weeks ago, beat them 25-0, and then scrimmaged South Dole on Friday and beat them 25-13. So we've had some success, but we know this still know where we want to be. There's some stuff we need to clean up, but I'm super excited for everything that's been going on.
I was just looking at the schedule. So we are heavily involved with Rivalry Thursday, and I see that you guys are at Lakeway Christian. That's September 26th. So I'll be there for that game doing some stuff. But you guys looking at playoffs beyond. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think just that me being, a senior, you kind of want to go as far as you can, go for it all, go for it all. And every year you kind of have, some expectations like, yeah, I think we can make the playoffs this year, but this is, my first year here at Grace where I firmly believe we can make a run in November. And I think, based on the draw and stuff we get, I think we can finish this season rivaling for the region. I think we can go as far as, we take ourselves and, we can, separate us from our own mistakes and not shoot ourselves in the foot. I think we can go as far as we want to.
What's something that you specifically need to improve on this season?
Yeah, so I think one thing for me that I've in the past trying to do is in the spring, really just, kind of, we're going to do a lot of team stuff in the summer, but in the spring, I really need to focus on myself and how I can better myself as a player. And 2 years ago, going into my junior year, what I've been lacking early on is overall like speed and athleticism. Being my size, 6'5", at anywhere over 200 pounds, you kind of just you're classified as a pocket passer, and that's what I was. But I think to bring my game to the next level, I really need to focus on being more athletic. And I joined the track team actually, and ran the 400, ran the 100, did some jumps, just try to better my overall athleticism, which helped a lot over my junior year. And then I was planning on running again, but with the new staff came in, I really wanted to use the spring as I'm going to study this playbook. I'm going to know it better than anyone else. I'm going to know like back of my hand and really just hone in on the detail side of football. And I think the one thing that I've really tried to be better at is in the past, as a quarterback, you can kind of get that Johnny Manziel mentality of, just go make a play, be flashy, scramble around, try to make a play on your own. But when you have a good coaching staff behind you, you got to think, sit in the pocket, trust the play, step up, make the right reads, and just let the playmakers around you make the plays for you. And I think this year is what I've really honed in on in the summer, at least, is, I have a lot of guys around me that can make a lot of plays. So just almost like being a point guard, getting the ball to those players, let them do their thing, trust the play, trust the down and distance, trust the reads, and just try to be a smart quarterback.
Are those connections that you have with your O line and your receivers that getting really tight so far after the summer?
Yeah, I mean we've had a close knit group of guys in my grade, but we overall we're a small class. We have almost 20 to 25 people in the junior, sophomore, and freshman class. We have a pretty big team, but my senior class we have about maybe under 10. So we don't have a lot of guys, and we're really that's how Grace has been in the past. Small classes, small teams. So we've really been picking it up and had a lot of kids and a lot of grades. But now with my senior class being the last class of that small quote unquote class we have a close knit group of guys that I've been playing with since middle school. But then mostly this year we're juniors and sophomores. So getting with those guys that maybe you haven't been as close with, because I got a couple kids in my grade obviously that are playing, but a lot of the guys I'm playing with are younger guys I didn't have a great relationship with until this summer. So it was really big on, meeting with the linemen, not only just talking about sports, but just, going to eat together, going to swim together, going to do stuff like that. Where those guys, they're not just your partners, they're your friends. And I think when guys like that you're around, that you're friends with, there's a little bit more to play for. And I think the Price brothers really have done a good job of getting us in situations where it's not just all football. Obviously, when we're on the field, it's, we're going to do what we need to get done, but getting off the field, let's have a little bit of, fellowship time together, go hang out, go do whatever to really just like, love your brother that's around you. And that's what really been good for us.
Yeah, that whole mentality of like playing for the guy next to you really goes far.
100%. Yeah.
So Weston, tell me something that very few people know about you.
But I guess the people that know me know this, but I'm a huge movie fan, which is kind of niche, I guess, but I'm a big guy. I love all types of movies, old movies, new movies. And recently for Christmas, I got this poster that was like New York Times came out with the top 100 movies of all time. And once you watch it, you kind of, scribble it off with a coin and kind of you get that movie. And I really went through and I've watched like 78 of those 100 movies.
Wow.
In my room at night, kind of like decompress. I'll finish my homework, get in my room, and just turn on a movie, watch half of it or the whole thing. And I started making my own list of like, my top movies and everything. And just I try to watch at least a couple movies a week because I just, I love the cinema side of it. I've not really been involved in any acting or drama. I can't do any of that, but just trying to appreciate, other people, the storylines. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan, so all of his work I really love, and just I'm a big movie guy, which is kind of niche and not a lot of people are like that, but that's one thing I really enjoy.
Do you listen to podcasts very often?
Yeah, my cousin, he does a podcast, but I'm a big Josh Pate fan. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh yeah.
He's over at CBS. I listen to him all the time, every week. I listen to almost all of his episodes. I love him.
So Bill Simmons, if you remember the name,
Yeah.
he's worked in sports for a long time. He has a podcast called The Rewatchables,
Mm-hmm.
where he and a couple guys will go through old movies. I mean, they have hundreds of episodes But you saying that made me think because just last week they put out a 2-part episode about Pulp Fiction. And I listened, and it's
There
like
you go.
4
It's a great
hours of
movie.
talking about Pulp Fiction, just like breaking down every like the most rewatchable scene, who was
Mhm.
the weakest link on the cast, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What did you
Which is
say that was
clearly,
called? Rewatchable?
yep, the
Bill
rewatchables.
Simmons? I'll have to check that out. That's right up my alley. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a top 5 movies?
Put me on the spot, but my all-time favorite is for sure. This isn't Quentin Tarantino, but Martin Scorsese, the Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah.
Huge Goodfellas fan. I'm really interested in that kind of like mob, Italian. I'm a fan of Godfather, but I definitely like Goodfellas more. I'm a big Django Unchained. That's a Quentin Tarantino film about, this escaped slave in, the 1800s. Big fan of that. Anything Quentin Tarantino. And then also I'm a huge, this is kind of off of like, the all-time greats, but Sandlot. That
Yeah.
was a movie that I was little. Maybe watched Sandlot once every 2 days. So that I keep that in my top 5 for sure. Just, kind of nostalgic, but also I think it's a great movie. Sandlot's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I'm along with you. I'll never take The Karate Kid out of my top 5 just
Yeah, it's a great
because
one.
of,
Yeah.
watching it as a kid. But I mean, actually, a debate I like to have is what's better? What's a better movie, Godfather 1 or 2? Because I
That's a,
really can't
that's
tell which one is an actual better movie. I think 1 is definitely one that I've seen more.
yeah.
But 2 is just a phenomenal movie.
I think as you said, the rewatchability of 1, I've seen that way more than I've seen number 2. But I think I like 1 because the first time I watched 1, it was just such a great movie. Obviously, there's some redeeming factors about 2 that some people would say it's better, but when I watched that first Godfather, I was like, this is just, it's just a great movie. And I think 1 maybe because I've seen it more, but I think if I watched 2 a little bit more, maybe, but 1 was just eye-opening the first time you see it. It's a great movie.
Yeah. So is Django your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
Yeah, probably Django. But then he came out with a one recently called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, great movie.
Great movie. I watched that for the first time. My dad also, he likes movies. We kind of watch them together. That one was a great movie if you watch it knowing the actual historical background of it, because the whole time you're like, well, I know what happens. And then at the end,
Hmm.
there's that huge scene at the end. And that was one of like my favorite because I watched it in theaters. One of the greatest time in theaters, just like, oh my God, what's going on? And then so that one, like I remember the first time watching that. That one's a great one, but probably Django. I watch the movie all the time. It's a great movie. I love
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx in that. He's great.
Well, that's kind of the same too. He changes history with that movie and Inglorious Bastards. He does the same thing
Yeah,
there.
great. Yeah, and then the thing I love about Tarantino too is all of his little East Tennessee, cookies and Easter eggs he has in there. That I love that. I love always
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
catch those.
So, one thing everybody gets on the show, tell me an unforgettable sports memory for you, whether it could be as a spectator or as an athlete.
Okay, so I have a little bit of an unconventional one that you probably haven't kind of got this side of it, but so my sophomore year, it was the third weekend in October, and that was the week we played Alabama. Tennessee did, but that Friday night we had a game against Chad Christian, and that's when they had Boo Carter and all of them, and they were over at Chad Christian. I mean, they were a great team, but that Friday night, before the game, whatever. But that weekend, I was supposed to go. Saturday, I was supposed to go to the Alabama Tennessee game, and then that Sunday night, I was gonna go with my couple of my buddies. They got tickets to the Post Malone concert, so I was jazzed all week. It's gonna be a great weekend. That Friday night, in the third quarter, I got a concussion against Chad Christian, a horrible concussion. I got knocked out, whatever. So that Saturday, I couldn't go to the Tennessee Alabama game, but my dad did, and he took my younger brother instead of me to go to the game because we were supposed to go, and they had second row seats. So unforgettable memory, maybe not for the best, but I remember watching that game on the TV in my pitch black room because with all the lights, I had to wear these blue light sunglasses watching the game, and the whole entire game, I was just wishing I could go there, but I see the game's over, and I get to see my dad and my brother jump over the thing, run on the field. And it was just one of those moments that I was just like ultimate defeat sitting in my room, wishing I was there. But luckily, my mom let me go down to pick him up because my mom dropped him off to go to the game and they tailgated or whatever, but they had to go pick him up. So my mom let me get in the car and ride with him down there, around the stadium, around campus, and just getting to see how crazy everything was, how many people, just like the pure joy on everyone's faces, and getting to see my dad and my brother pick them up. It ended up being a sweet memory, but when I was in my room, it was agony for sure. I was wishing I was there.
That's crazy that you still got that memory from that, but nope, you weren't there.
Yeah. So, I wish I was there. I wish I could tell you the story of me helping the field, getting a picture with Tendon Hooker, but I was sitting in my room in agony. So
Yeah. My kids still like to point out the noises I was making at home, just screaming for the balls.
that was because that game. So I have two brothers. One of my brothers went in, but my younger brother, he was downstairs, playing around when I was in my room watching the thing. And every single time he would come in to check the score, something bad would happen. He came in one time. It was when we had the ball over Hendon Hooker's head. They went, got the ball or whatever, hit it through the pick. But then right when he would leave, we started going again. So it was towards the end. He came in, and it was the last drive that Alabama had before we kicked the field goal. And I was yelling him, get out, get out, get out. Just superstition, like trying to get him. And then he got out, and sure enough, they missed the field goal. We go down, we scored and win. So I was like, maybe it was true. Maybe he was messing us up, but that
Yeah.
was one
Well,
thing I was screaming out there at the house.
thank you for kicking him out. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I was doing a solid for the Vols and Josh Heupel getting my brother out of the room.
That's good. That's good. All right, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'm going to
For
put
sure.
this together. I'll have it out in a couple weeks.
There you go. I appreciate you. Great time.
Thanks, dude. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'll see
See you,
you.
man.